Mars, Pluto, and the Sun will be challenging each other's authority this week. So let's look at what is going on with our engine. What do they say in racing? Gentlemen, start your engines. Well, problem is when you start these engines, some of them might explode. Yes, indeed. So here we go. We have Mars, which is the second chakra. It is the planet of sex and drugs and rock and roll. It's just do it. Mars is the just do it planet. Okay. And that is second chakra. Now, this is vitality. This is the place where life is conceived. It is the energy of procreation that we all have. We want to make this new thing together. And we don't make it by ourselves, no, because the parents make it together. We have a daddy yang and a mommy yin, and we're in the middle here. Okay, so Mars, second chakra, is going to be connecting to Pluto up at the top, yeah. That's seventh chakra, comes above the head. It's not even in the body. It's the little crown at the top of your head that allows the cosmic energies to come into this container and enliven it, transform it into a thing, as we are. All right, so I hope this is making sense. When Mars opposes Pluto, yikes. And then what happens? All right, so here's the deal. Mars, second chakra planet that represents, can I say fuck it or kill it? That's from Ken Wilber, who wrote, what was it? I'll have to look it up. All right, so this energy of procreation, which is sexy, it's the beast with two backs. It is the progenerative energy of mating. And guess what? In the Kabbalah, it's called foundation. So the foundation of Earth, which is the bottom one, is the coming together of the two gods, the yin and the yang. And so Mars isn't just men pushing their pencil around into things. Mars is the two, the pencil pushing onto the paper. If you get my meaning. It's the act. It's that act, that juicy act of union. Okay, so T-square with the sun this week. So Pluto's going to be in Aquarius, and across from that, Mars is in Leo. Leo's the heart, the center, the grand central station of love. So Mars is in the house of the grand central station of love, which means we're elevating our sexuality into this heartfelt pride. Yes, we did it. And now this is what we got. This is our creation. Isn't it beautiful? Because the sun sign, the Leo, is about, oh, I am the father of this beautiful experience of this lovely thing. I made this. And the little comedian character is the one that goes, well, I meant to do that. Look what I can do. Because that's the silly version, right? But truly the sun is the father throwing the baby up in the air, because fathers do that because they're big and strong. Mothers don't throw their babies because we're just not built to do that. We're holders. We're not tossers. Yeah. So the daddies, they toss the babies and catch them, and the babies scream in delight, and the men are just in ecstasy with the thing that they have contributed their energy to create. This is the beautiful combination of feminine, masculine that we are, you see. This fighting and hating of one another is it's not okay. Stop it. All right. So as Mars is in Leo in the sun sign, and it's opposite its own energy, which is the higher octave of itself, right? Because this is the higher octave of this. So Pluto is the higher octave of the sun, and it's also the higher octave of Mars. So you see, all this is central. This is all very human. This is all very nowish, right? Now, more to the story, Mars in Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius, Aquarius, the sign of the people, but also of the creative progenitor of the universe. So there's that. He's in there in the Aquarian side of it. Pluto is not the god of the underworld, because the underworld is feminine and it is goddess energy. It's dark and cold. What is the hot part in Pluto is when the hot and the cold come together and make an explosion. So Pluto can be described in science terms as the Big Bang. Now the Kabbalists describe it as an explosion as well. And then the explosion is little light that shoots out in its tiny data packets, its little data packets everywhere, like little tiny light spears. And it pierces the veils all over. So that's the story. Anyway, we have this singular column being totally charged up right now. And what do we have? The rest of the story, as I was saying, the sun will be in Taurus tomorrow or the next day, soon. I'm putting this out on the 18th, the 19th, or the 20th. It's right around those dates from the 19th to the 25th. That's what we're looking at. The sun will then be squaring Mars in the sky and Pluto in the sky. It's going to be a T-square. So what we're going to see then is that our engine, our power, our vitality will be enhanced by its backdoor essence, because an opposition is like this. This is the front side of my hand. This is the back side of my hand. This is an opposition. Oppositions are not that. Oppositions are this. In other words, oppositions are of the same thing, but they cannot see each other. How can the front of my hand touch the back of my hand? It cannot. This is the middle. This is the center pillar. Okay, so if you kind of think about this as a three-dimensional object rather than a flat diagram on a piece of paper, that's going to help you integrate what I'm getting at here, is that this is a moving object. This is the moving object of time. This is the transcendental object moving towards the end of time, which never really ends and is always ending and beginning. But this thing should be a sculpture, and it should be in my room, and I should be walking around it. And everything should be spinning, right? And twirling, and one way this way, and then the other one that way. It should be quite chaotic. This is so static. All right. So what's going to happen when the sun squares this opposition from the front of my hand to the back of my hand? If you are in the mindset that you want to reflect upon where you are in the world right now, then this can be very useful. But if your front wants to fight the back of you, you're going to not be in a good space, and your heart will be in trouble because it's going to be in between those two sides. Mars is going to oppose its own higher octave. Fighting you. Am I fighting or am I sandwiching? I think we're sandwiching, but how does then the sun fit in? The sun is like in the middle. There we go. So as you can see, we're going to have to decide which one is getting the most attention. Are we going to be most attention to the middle? Are we going to have more attention to the creative nuclear storm that dwells within? Because you all have that incredibly strong desire to create and destroy. We all have it. It's the death wish. Do you have a death wish? I always want to throw myself off a high edge, which is why I had to leave Colorado. It was so hard not to just steer my car right and drive off the edge. I wanted to so much. What? What is that? I'm still here. Obviously, I was able to deal with it, but it was so powerful. That powerful urge to experience the ecstasy of letting go of this and going somewhere new. We're all going to do it. It's just a matter of how, why, where, when. Right? Ooh, it's so exciting. So there's that. And then the other side of it is, no, I want to be right here with my lover, yoni lingam, connected, just in this sexual thing, doing it, killing it, eating, fucking killing, eating. It's so yummy. Physicality. And it's brilliantly sacred. It is the foundation of earth, of being. It really matters. This is important stuff. So now when Pluto hit my moon, I felt like a superwoman. Now I think with Pluto hitting Mars, you could feel like a super person. But when the sun is at a 90-degree angle from both of them, what are you going to do? How's that going to feel? Well, we have to look at your chart to see how it affects your particular chart, because wherever these fall in your round chart, those are the houses, and those houses represent the play, the setting of your play. In other words, are you playing this out at home, or are you playing this out on your own body, or are you playing this out in somebody else's home, or in the public square, in your neighborhood? All these places, each little slice of astrology pie means there's a certain area, and that can be represented if your life is like a movie, a scripted movie, then each one is a stage set. Okay, so however this works out in your round chart, this will show where the stressors and the recognitions must be dealt with and how intense they will feel. For some people, it's not going to be that intense, and for others, it'll be stressful, right? So we want to look at that. Now, Mars and Pluto have a relationship, and it's a modern thing because in the ancients, they couldn't see Pluto, although a lot of them surmised it because they knew stuff, and they had a way of knowing stuff that we don't. Now, we think we're such modern smarty Alex, and we are modern smarty Alex because we believe I was trained as a girl in the 50s and 60s in schools that we Americans were the best people, the smartest people, the most goodness people, all these superlatives. These are called superlatives, by the way. These means super and above others. And so I was trained that we were the best. And as a kid, I always thought, I think that's not really right. I think there's been other good things in people. And I think they knew stuff just as well as we do, maybe better. Modern medicine is what? 150 years old. Ancient medicine is thousands of years old, and yet we have the audacity to think we know it's the best medicine. And obviously, what's going on right now? It's the medicine is the best medicine for the wealthy to get wealthier. All right, so this is Isabel Hickey, and she's one of my brilliant teachers. I've learned everything from books and a few people, and lots of talking to other people. In other words, consultations and just interactions in the world. So this is how I think it goes. Now, Mars then with Pluto, and Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. And so you can extrapolate all of these martial concepts with the numbers in the houses. And Mars is number 1, Aries. But when it moves to its rulership of Scorpio, which it does, then it becomes number 8. And number 8 then is the 8th house. And the modern ruler of the 8th is Pluto. So you see there's that number 8 relationship. And that is deeply, deeply interesting. We will see Mars in Scorpio. This will be the energy of what's going on with this opposition, according to Isabel Hickey and my interpretation of this middle pillar. Okay. The strongest position for Mars, but needs handling. This is a powerful position for Mars. Fixed fire in a water sign generates steam. That's Pluto. Pluto is the cauldron, the vessel. And the cauldron holds water. Intense, proud, strong-willed, stubborn, where visions are concerned. Here, the animal must be tamed for the personality to be redeemed. In best form, energies flow into channels that make for deep personal security. Must learn to draw to him through love, not fear. Instincts so strong, his presence can be felt even though he says nothing. As effective in silence as he is in speech. Self-discipline is a necessity. Healing power very strong if individual spirituality oriented. You get that? She's saying that this is the ultimate spiritual aspect. Now, one of the things we've misunderstood of spiritual is that it's nice. And femininity is not nice. Can be. But it's a lot nicer, femininity, when it's the combination of yang and yin. So when the feminine earth at the bottom of the tree has been made into one, dropped down into this 3D, then we can have niceness. But before that process is accomplished, we have these sides. And the sides, the yin, the yang, the pure masculine and pure feminine, are amoral agents. They are energies that have their way and do what they do without judgment, without qualification. The yin receives unqualified. The yang projects unqualified. So for the yang, it could be a projector of any kind. It doesn't ask permission. So we only ask permission in the center, you see. When we're talking about men and women, we're mixed. Women more yin, men more yang. But you see, this gets to be so much more confusing and convoluted and needing discussion and introspection, right? The point of Mars and Pluto together being a powerful agent for love, because look what's in between them. The heart, the sun is in between them. The violent processes of the Big Bang are then shot between these other agents, which I'll discuss further in another place. Oh, why the hell not? Yeah. The other agents being the sixth chakra. So here's the wait a minute, here we go. You have the violent explosion. This is passionate and emotional. It's in the middle. You can feel this. This has good and bad. This does not, and this does not. The yang side projects images, inventions, and novelty into the yin side that accepts and includes all of the ideas that are given by the yang. So this lady, this Pisces, and this Aquarius. This Pisces, she accepts all of this novelty and she just lets it swim around in her cosmic soup. Okay, then you drop it down to the fifth chakra, the throat, right? Now the throat has Jupiter and Saturn. We've got Jupiter and Juno, the king and queen of the Mount Olympus, right? He spreads his seed of knowledge. He's not physical. And he is, and that's why some of the archetypes of this are the preacher, the teacher, the professor, the professional. So there's this whole thing of men cheating and powerful men cheating. It's normal. It happens all the time. We expect it. Why? In America, we pretend like we don't expect it, but it's the archetype. It's what he does. He gets some power, prestige, and he screws around. Why does he screw around? Because Jupiter has got to spread his seed. He is the eternal seed maker and taker and spreader. The ideas, those are the seeds in this level. It's really not physical, but it comes out that way in our lives sometimes. All right. And then his wife, the queen, and I think it's Saturn, and they tell you Saturn is the son of Uranus, but it's the daughter. And the reason it's the daughter is that the feminine takes that masculine fire, gobbles it up in her body, and uses it, castrates it out of him. She takes the inventive novelty. He shoots it over here, and these ladies deal with it. So we're talking sixth chakra, fifth chakra. The queen of the mountain here, she makes diamonds out of coal. She spins gold from straw. She takes the raw materials, and over time, because she is time, she will form a skeleton and a skin. It's like she makes the golem. But this doesn't have any life yet. These structures are still up here. And what do we have in the fifth chakra? The throat chakra is speak your truth. Speak your truth. This is the side of judgment and mercy. And who's merciful? The king, not the queen. The queen is a fucking bitch. She's the one that murders the beautiful stepdaughter because she's jealous of her looks. The queen is a bitch. And the king is a cheating profligator. These are our people. Now, the fun part of this is when you understand that, then you realize this is where we have the angels on one shoulder and the devils on the other. And you get married, and over time, the married couple, they switch. The angels and devils switch off so that in time, the husband then becomes sweet and the wife becomes morbid and cruel. In other words, whatever your tendencies are, they sort of switch around. That's the deal. All right, then the middle is the grand central station of love. That is the fourth chakra of the heart. Everything comes together with our sun sign. The time of month you're born, it does matter to you because the season in which you're born, that infant is coming into that energy of the sun coming up and being brighter for longer hours in the day, or if you're born in the afternoon, then of that time of day when where the sun is diminishing, and to the little soul coming in, that has a quality that pervades the energy of that soul. Now, these things come in layers, and they come in horizontal pillars as well. All right, so then we go down to the third chakra where we have the marriage of Venus and Mercury. Men are from Mercury. Mercury is the thinker, talker, left brain. Venus is the right brain, the natural brain. She's the one that's in nature and seeing how everything grows together. She sees the whole and he sees the parts. Together, they come together and they create Cupid. Did you know that the goddess Venus and the god Hermes, it's Persephone and Hermes? No, it's Aphrodite and Hermes, yeah, in the Greek. And they have a baby. And their baby is Mars, is actually Eros. So Mars is, they always say it's the warrior, but that's the interpretation we've had for thousands of years from the left brain perspective. From a right brain perspective, that baby is Eros, the love child. So Mars is literally the love child of your thoughts and the form of your own body. And then once that is done, we drop down into the bottom and we become real in 3D. So that's the rundown on the tree of life. Here we go. I'm going to switch microphones now. So that's the rundown on the tree of life. So you can see that the Mars and Pluto opposition with the square to the sun that's coming this week is really profound for our real selves, not for any esoteric thing. This is going to feel real, because the middle is where the two sides, the yin, the yang, have procreated into one vortex. So I think, depending on how this lays out in your chart, in terms of your whole sign chart, you could have some intense experience. It could be challenging. And wherever it is, whatever your sun sign is, just think about your sun sign. If it's going to be lined up in, let's see, what are we talking about? We're talking about fixed signs. So if it's in Taurus and Aquarius and Leo, it could really be challenging your fixity. And that's the other thing. Fixity, it means that you have your security built around certain rituals that you don't like to change. And your responses are the same. And it's hard for people to get through because sometimes your responses are like, I already have this. I already know this. Leave me alone. Doing readings for fixed sign people is the hardest because they just go, I don't know you. Except for the Leos. They're like, look at me. You know me, don't you? But yeah, so fixed sign that's how that goes. It's a challenge, no doubt. All right, Mars, opposite Pluto, square the sun. Challenging. You can get a reading from many good astrologers, myself included. My links are below. Please like and subscribe if you do. At least a thumbs up. That's really good. All righty then. See you soon.